Welcome, everyone. We know you are excited to begin the program. We have a number of folks in the waiting room, so just bear with us while we let everyone in. Thank you for joining us. If you just joined us, go ahead and put your phone on mute, and we will begin shortly.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Audra Brown Ward, and I am the very proud president of Tau Epsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which serves East Point and College Park, Georgia. And I am delighted to welcome you to this evening's event. Pink Table Talk, we began in 2020 as a series of conversations hosted by our Women's Health and Wellness Committee, featuring experts from within Tau Epsilon Omega. We had a very successful run in 2020, and so we are continuing in 2021. So welcome to the first evening edition of Pink Table Talk. It looks like it's starting to rain outside, so this is a good time to have this kind of conversation. I am so excited about what we're going to talk about this evening. Let me first, though, acknowledge our Vice President and our Program Chairman, Ms. Suzette Lassane, for all of the work that you do, not just with our Women's Health and Wellness Committee, but with all of our public programs that benefit the community. Thank you for your leadership in that area. I also would like to thank the Chairman of this committee, Ms. Joanna Fuller Crawford, as well as her co-chairman, Ms. Rosalind Kaur, for all of the work that you do and for the innovation that you really bring to this work. And to our coordinator for tonight's event, Miss Autumn Lewis, my Spelman sister, thank you for all that you have done to make this evening's event a success. I'm really excited about this conversation. I need some more ideas for healthcare, for self-care, not healthcare, self-care. So I'm excited for what will be shared with us this evening. So let's just jump right into the conversation. I want to introduce our moderator for the evening. Her name is Mokita Brantley, and she's an executive business manager with an extensive background in promotional marketing. She has launched products for various major companies and brands. Additionally, her philanthropic and marketing experience extends to working with the Magic Johnson, Alonzo and Tracy Morning, and the Jerome Bettis Foundations. Her desire is to leave the world better than she found it. She is also a very proud member of Tau Epsilon Omega. Ladies, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Miss Mokita Brantley. Mokita?
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to see all of your faces. This is something that we all can use. But before we get started, I'd like to have a moment of prayer. Can we get our chaplain for Tau Epsilon Omega to lead us in a moment of prayer?
Mokita, she is not on the call.
Okay,
But if it's okay with you, if I can ask Miss Yvette Hart, if she would not mind saying a prayer for us, I would appreciate that.
absolutely.
Ms. Hart.
Get off mute. I was trying to get off mute.
Mhm.
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, we come before you with thanksgiving in our heart. We come, Lord, just thanking you for another opportunity for us to gather in your name. Lord, we thank you for this presentation, and we just pray, Lord, that something will be said or done that will lead us to better self-care. These and our blessings we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ms. Hart. As I said, I am happy to see you all here. My expectation is high tonight. We can all use some self-care. If anybody is like me, you're putting everybody before yourself. You're trying to make sure the kids are good, the husband is good, the job is fine before you start taking care of yourself. And we cannot pour from an empty cup. As they say on the airplane before you take off, put your mask on first before you attempt to help someone else. So that is what we're going to dig into tonight. We have some great panelists that have great credentials, and we're going to just jump right into this. Let me also say that this is an interactive Pink Table Talk. We need you all to interact with us. Let's bring our authentic selves. Let's try to get the most we can out of this. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we come to the table real. And that is what I plan to do tonight. And I hope that you all plan to do the same. So drop your questions in the chat. If you prefer to speak and ask one of the panelists a question directly, please use the raise your hand function. And we have Valerie Bracely, and we'll have Miss Joanna Fuller Crawford, who will be checking the chats and letting me know if someone has a question. And we will definitely get you on with one of the panelists. As I said, this is interactive. Let's relax, relate, and we're going to just go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to release as well tonight. So our first panelist is serial entrepreneur Valerie Lee. She's a CEO and president of Building Bridges Holding Company, the organization that houses several ventures Valerie owns. Her longest running business is VB Consulting. It's an IT software service firm that Valerie established in 2002. In 2019, Valerie invested in Atlanta's South Side by purchasing several commercial properties to house her consumer-facing ventures. Pop Shopolis was the first of 2 retail spaces to open in 2020, allowing area entrepreneurs to try brick and mortar without substantial costs or long-term commitment. The Wellness Spot is the fitness and day spa that has been launched. It opened, I believe, in April. To rave reviews. I've heard several people say that they've been, and I am on my way. So it was slated to open in 2021. As I said, it opened in April. Valerie graduated from the University of Georgia, where she received a BA in journalism and public relations. She went on to pursue her master's degree in management technology from Southern Polytechnic University, now Kennesaw State. Valerie is currently pursuing her doctoral degree at Georgia State University. Valerie is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Our second panelist is LaDonna Suggs. LaDonna Suggs graduated summa cum laude from Alabama A&M University, earning a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering with a concentration in computer engineering. In 2020, she received a professional certificate in executive leadership from American University School of Public Affairs in Washington, D.C. LaDonna is the director of the Division of Fuel Facility Inspection with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission in Region 2 in Atlanta, Georgia. LaDonna joined the NRC in 2006 and has served in several progressively more responsible positions over her 15-year career with the agency. LaDonna is the owner and luxury realtor with 12 Lux Real Estate and Interior Design. You can find them at 12 Lux, that's LUXE.com. LaDonna works with buyers and sellers in the Atlanta in-town market to offer a robust suite of real estate and design services. In 2021, LaDonna and her husband Darnell expanded their entrepreneurial endeavors into the beauty and self-care industry. They are the proud owners of a new franchise that they introduced to the Atlanta market this spring. It's called the 10 Spot. You can find them at the THE 10 Spot, 10 is spelled out, TENSPOT.com. It's a vibrant beauty bar with a comprehensive offering: nails, waxing, facials, brows, lashes, and laser hair removal. The company is based out of Toronto, Canada, and has flourished across Canada for the last 15 years. LaDonna and Darnell are the first owners in the Southeast, opening their first location in Atlanta's Morningside and Virginia Highland neighborhood in April, with plans to open 3 more bars over the next 3 years. LaDonna is also a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and she's originally from Tuskegee, Alabama, and is now a 15-year resident in Atlanta. Her leisure activities include spending quality time with family, friends, and exploring through domestic and international travel. As evidenced, she's visited 6 of 7 continents before the age of 30. That is impressive, LaDonna. And we have Katrina Lawson. Katrina Lawson has been a yoga teacher for over a year, receiving her certification from Sacred Chill West Yoga Studio. Her classes range from gentle to active, as well as beginner to advanced. Her teaching style focuses on being still and then moving. Katrina began yoga over 8 years ago while searching for holistic remedies and more neuropathic ways of life. She has experience designing yoga classes and integrated gentle yoga lesson plans for beginners and intermediate students. Katrina is known for her accessibility, humor, and ability to empower her students through her message. Stillness moves. Some of her loves are learning new yoga techniques, reading, discovering new restaurants, and traveling. She is the owner of Kinetic Abundance Yoga, she's a Yoga Alliance 200-hour experienced registered yoga teacher, and she's an American Red Cross volunteer. As you can see, we have some impressive panelists. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Rashana Johnson-Verwain, also known as Dr. RJ, is a licensed clinical psychologist and the founder of Standard of Care Psychological Services in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. RJ integrates self-care with education of the brain and body connection and explains neuroscience in a relatable manner, whether it's speaking at a women's conference, hosting a corporate retreat, or attending a grassroots community service event. Dr. RJ is passionate about wellness and self-care. Her latest endeavor focuses on helping Black women executives and physicians eliminate burnout, anxiety, and stress. Dr. RJ is the go-to professional for any and all topics pertaining to mental health. She has appeared as an expert psychologist on the Lifetime series Killer Kids, Oxygen Network series Snapped, Behind Bars, and on several episodes of the docucrime series For My Man on TV One. She is the host of Wellness Wednesday for KPRS Hot 103 Jams in Kansas City and has authored several blogs and articles for a variety of publications. As an African-American woman, Dr. RJ recognizes the unique impact of stress on her demographic. Author of the #1 new release in clinical psychology, Stress, Lies, and Vacancy, the self-care guide to refill your empty vessel. And of the recently published book, Overwhelmed, the self-care guide for college students. Oh, I've got to get that for my daughter. Dr. RJ's experiences and transparency provide self-help for people of color to reduce common stressors in their lives and have long-term effects on the body and brain. Dr. RJ's favorite quote is, "Self-care isn't selfish. You can't serve from an empty vessel." How about that? Didn't I say that before I started? Dr. RJ, maybe I stole that from you. I'm so sorry. Let me go ahead and give you credit right now. Dr. RJ is one of my favorite speakers. I've heard her before. I always jot down notes and I can always take something away from what she's saying. So let's just dig in right now. We're going to take advantage of the time that we have here. I'm going to start out with a couple questions for the panel, and then everybody, I expect you all to jump in. We're going to have some laughs as well, guys. I am not uptight. I like to laugh and I joke a lot. Okay, so the first question that I have, this would go to either the spa owner or I don't want to call her a spa owner. She told me earlier that this is not a spa, it's a luxury
beauty bar.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, LaDonna. You better go ahead and get me right.
I got you.
Okay, so this is the first question that I have. What are some of the little known benefits of spa services?
So I'll jump in since I've already come off of mute.
Okay.
You know, I think it's a really good question, because spa services sort of implies or has a connotation of luxury, pampering yourself, like you're doing something extraordinary or special. When in reality, I think the little known benefit, to kind of answer your question, is that I think a more accurate perspective would be that many spa services really have tangible, just health and wellness, maintenance, necessity attributes. I mean, something as simple as a facial can improve blood circulation, reduce stress, target pressure points in your face, detoxify your skin. I mean, even therapy for like precancerous condition like oversun exposure can be treated with things like regular facials. And I think for a lot of people, that's not something that's a part of your routine. It's something that you do as an extra special, something nice to do kind of thing. But in reality, there are actual health benefits to really simple things like that.
Okay. So I would love to get a facial. I would like to have one once a month. But let's talk about the cost. Is it something that everybody can put into their budget? I mean, we know that we're coming out of COVID. 2021 may have been a little rough on people financially. How can we work this into our budget?
Yeah, I do think it's something that can be worked into your budget. The word facial encompasses a lot of different things. And so when people hear it, they think of a variety of options. But for us, I know we offer two options, and they're very basic because we really see ourselves as regular maintenance, not necessarily luxury high-end. So our quickie facial, which is 35 minutes, is really going to cost you around $50.
Oh,
when
nice.
You look at that as a once a month kind of thing, that's absolutely doable. Maybe you might have to sacrifice your daily Starbucks if you're paying $5 a day for Starbucks, or even a couple times a week, and then you can get that in to your monthly regimen. And that's a really simple piece. We offer a full facial, which takes about an hour, and that's going to run you about double the cost. It's about double the time. So you're looking at about $100, but it's 100% doable and well worth the investment in yourself.
Absolutely. We have to invest in ourselves. We invest in everything else. So if I just put a pair of those shoes back, then quite possibly I can get these blemishes off my face. Valerie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to add, I'm just dittoing everything she so eloquently said, but you said, let's be transparent tonight, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I'm going to be transparent. My regimen for facials before I got the wellness spot was witch hazel.
Oh, wow.
What I learned was witch hazel, but I learned from being a business owner, having estheticians in there, skin therapists, that I really needed to take better care of my skin. Now, I would like to think I'm 25, my skin is 25, but it's not. And so because I was educated, and that's something that I think is really important, is that we need to be educated about those things. That I needed to have a facial just to take the toxins out of my skin. Witch hazel is not going to do it for you when you're almost 49. I would love to say that, but I'm just not that genetically inclined to have that. So it really is all about education. And when one of my estheticians, Habiba, when she touched my skin, and Aki, who's also very good, touch, as we all know, because we have not been touched for so long, right? Because of COVID, it is healing. It is healing. And so I want us to also think about facials and massages as healing. And when you look at it from that perspective, you're able to find that $75, $50 in your budget because you are taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you that 40-year-old skin does not bounce back like the 20-year-old skin used to. Yeah. You have to drink that water. You have to stay moisturized. Listen,
you got to drink that water.
Listen, I have learned to put lotion on my heels now because they don't just bounce back like they used to. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
It's interesting, Mokita, and I mean, you mentioned heels, which sparked something else in my mind that I think we also see sort of as these luxury pampering things that really are elements that are necessary. A pedicure. I mean, especially as women, we are wearing heels and putting our feet in these really uncomfortable shoes, or either we're wearing flats that have zero arch support, but they're cute little ballet flats on everything that you're wearing. But it's so bad for our feet that you have to take the time to implement in a regular routine a pedicure to exfoliate your skin, to remove those calluses, to increase your circulation from your feet being locked up in high heels for hours at a time. I mean, we do a lot to ourselves that we don't in turn compensate for. And I think that we have to take the time to do it. It's not really pampering. It's not a luxury. It's truly to maintain the things that are carrying you around literally every day, your feet.
Absolutely. We have to respect them. If we want them to work for us, we have to respect them.
That's right.
Let me ask this question, because before I decided to book a spa day or anything with some of my friends, we started talking about COVID, and we were just concerned about how some of the facilities are incorporating cleaning practices, or what are you doing to combat COVID and making people feel a little bit more comfortable about coming into a spa?
I can take that. That is certainly a major concern for everyone, even though some people are relaxing the mask ordinance, right? We at the Wellness Spot are not relaxing that. Even though we also do facials, massages, pedicures, manicures, we also have a fitness component up at the top of the space. And so in our classes, you have to wear your mask. We have something on the door that says that. You come in with the temperature checks. You come in with getting the hand sanitizer. We've also implemented you get a hot towel, especially if you're waiting. And we also made the investment, even though we are only a month old, we're a baby, we made the investment to have a full-time person sanitize and clean the fitness and the spa area. So I think that's extremely important. Our folks wear gloves, some of them wear face shields. So all of that is extraordinarily important, especially if you want to come to a space and you want to relax. If you're uptight about folks, you can't relax.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we have made an investment, and the majority of our staff have been vaccinated. So
awesome.
That's important as well.
Awesome. That's great information. That would definitely make me feel a lot more comfortable coming into, an establishment.
Yeah, and I can just add on to everything that Valerie said. So for the Tent Spot, one of the mantras, an element of our core values is to be clinically clean. It's something that we take, extremely seriously. From our signage, everywhere you look, we're explaining to you how we're doing that. And that's not something that was just implemented with COVID. The brand's been around since 2006. And I think it says a lot that when COVID came, the only change that we really had to implement in bar was social distancing and wearing masks, because the clinical practices, the sanitary practices were already well above what's required by your local, state, or federal mandates. But I do think it's really important, and everyone is much more conscientious about it. And I think we all should be. But when you're looking at the implements that a nail tech or an esthetician is using, I think it's fair to ask, what are their sanitary practices? For us, all of our tools are stainless steel. They are sterilized and sanitized in between each guest. Anything that's not stainless steel, for example, the files that you're using to file your individual nails, all of those things are one-time use. They're disposed of after each and every guest. And that's just a standard practice. So you have to be conscientious and be asking yourself and your service provider, how are they doing that? I know with COVID, it became really prevalent to use mobile services, people that were coming to your home. And I think you really want to ask the question of those people, how are they cleaning and sterilizing? You don't necessarily have the comfort of being able to see that like you would when you walk into
Absolutely.
a storefront like the Wellness Spot or like the 10 Spot. So you really have to ask your service providers. They shouldn't be offended by it. It should be
Absolutely.
something that they are proud to explain to you, because it means that there's forethought that's there of how they're going to be really taking care of you as their guests and making sure that they're being clean and sterile and sanitized before and after they engage with you. So I think that's totally fair game for questions that all of us should be asking.
I totally agree. There are times when we go into all different types of service providers where we feel a little bit uncomfortable asking questions, but it's our body and we have a right to know. So we have a couple questions in the chat. The first one that I see is, how beneficial are massages for diabetics and individuals with lymphatic issues? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, anyone just jump right in, because I don't have the answer for that one.
No, I totally understand, and I'm happy to give some perspective, and I'll let Valerie hop in as well. So at the 10 Spot, we don't offer massage, but there are elements of massage in some of the services we provide. So I mentioned to you about facials. That's obvious, and people don't think about massage as a part of a facial, but it very much is, because it helps with circulation. It helps improve blood flow, and the same with a full pedicure. When you're getting a pedicure, you're getting that massage on your calf muscles, through your ankles, down to your feet, all of those pressure points. So from those two perspectives of services, facials and pedicures, and even manicures, because you're doing the same, you've got a lot of pressure points in your hands that we're using them all the time, and you don't really recognize the stress and the tension that it gets built up in those areas. So it absolutely helps. I'm not a medical professional, so I can't necessarily speak to the diabetic aspect. However, I know that circulation can be an issue for diabetics. And so helping the massage aspects of those services alone can certainly help with that. And I think even more so when you take that to the next level and you're looking at full body massages, which, like I said, we don't offer that at the 10 Spot, but I 100% know that the overall circulation can help with issues like diabetes.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
And I too am not a medical expert on that, but certainly at the Wellness Spot, we for diabetes, we do have a pedicure. And we take special care with someone that is a diabetic. Again, like you said, with circulation, that is the main goal really of a pedicure, other than to have your feet look pretty, right?
Right.
And we've had several men come in as well for pedicures at the Wellness Spot, which, they don't get polished, but they want their feet to look good. But it's the touch, it's the massage, it's the circulation. All of that is the healing part that I think is very important. We've also gotten some feedback from several folks that have gone through cancer, and they have had massages at the Wellness Spot, and they leave and they say, oh my gosh, I can't tell you what it is. And I'm sure, LaDonna, you've heard about this, but I feel brand new. Because that there again is that touch, is the circulation. I don't have these headaches right now. I'm not in pain. And most importantly, because when you're going through cancer, diabetes, or even the stress that we go through every day, it's the anxiety that is released when you have a massage. That I think is most important. And one of the things that I would encourage many of you to do when you get your massage is maybe try to come at the end of the day or when you have a day off.
Okay.
So many times I myself, and this is real girl talk, right?
Mhm.
I would go during lunch for a massage, but while I'm on the table, I'm thinking about all the things that I have to do after this massage. That really does defeat the purpose of the self-care that you're trying to go in to get. So you have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate in your planning of when am I going to get these services, because I want to make sure I'm optimizing my time. I'm
Right.
optimizing myself and soul care.
Right. Now, soul care. Oh, wow. Yeah, I felt that. I have another question it's closely related to what we were just talking about, but a little bit more detailed. So Angelica Epps asked, how could massages, mani-pedi, etc., be modified for people who are currently undergoing chemotherapy, those who are immunocompromised or post-surgical procedures?
Right. One of the things that we do at the Wellness Spot is before you even get your massage, there's a consultation with the massage therapist. They take notes about everything that's going on with you. And it's so important that when you go in, you are very transparent, because this is someone that's going to be working on you. Oftentimes, it's like when you go to the doctor, you know, you don't tell them that time when you fell or when you felt funny. You've got to kind of come prepared with all of those things, so the massage therapist knows where to work, knows where not to work, knows where you need the special attention. I've heard several people say, well, that was a good massage, not at a Wellness Spot maybe. That was a good massage, but I kind of wanted it a little deeper. I wanted it a little softer. I wanted it more in this area. You have a responsibility for your soul care and self-care to have that communication with your therapist. Tell them, I need you to go a little bit. Don't wait for them to ask you. That's for a pedicure too, a manicure. Am I getting it right? Does this look good? Because a lot of times what we'll do is in our minds, we'll say, that ain't really the shape that I wanted, or that's not really where I wanted that touch. You've got to tell them what it is that you need prior to and during. So all of the services at the Wellness Spot can be modified based on your medical condition, without a shadow of a doubt.
Love that, what Valerie just said, and I echo it 100%. At the end of the day, your estheticians and your nail techs, they are at the root of the service pleasers. They want you to be pleased and satisfied at the end of your service. But what they are not is mind readers. They won't know. So you have to, especially to the person who asked the question, if you have some very specific medical conditions and you know you want to go in and have these services, I would suggest for sure having a conversation with your physician as well. I want to do these things. What should I let them know before I go in? So that way you know how to answer the question, how to educate your esthetician or your nail tech on your particular set of circumstances so that they can then modify the services to best suit you. So 100%, they want to get it right. They want you to leave, in our case at the 10 spot, feeling like a 10. That's what we exist to make everyone feel like a 10. So they want you to walk away feeling that way. So if you held something in and not said it out of fear of either hurting their feelings or not being heard, it really does a disservice on both sides of the service. You're not what you want, and then the esthetician or the nail tech really doesn't have a fair opportunity to like exceed your expectations. So I think just going in and having that conversation, it just sets the service on the right path.
It does.
We definitely have to learn how to be our own advocates.
Yes.
Because no one knows what we need better than ourselves, you know? So this is a great segue into giving something away. We love to give things away. So somebody on here has a wheel that they're going to spin. I don't know who it is. There it is. If I ask for it, it just pops up. Okay. You have to be present to win. So let's see. Anita Williams, are you here? Anita, come off of mute.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I know that's right. Anita said, wait a minute, let me find the mute button. Hold on, don't give my stuff away. Look at there, Anita.
So much.
Look what you won. I see some lashes. Anita, do you wear lashes?
No, but I can start.
Where you at? Let me see your face. There you go, girl. You better start putting them lashes on. Is that a bottle of wine in there? Well, don't put the lashes on after you have the wine.
Okay.
Do that first, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me and having this today.
Oh, you're welcome. And I hope you take something away. So now we're gonna shift over to Dr. RJ. Oh, are we doing another? Well, wait a minute. We giving away more than one thing. Hold on. Hold on. Somebody else is gonna win. Let's spin it. Shayla Jones. Did I pronounce that correctly? I'm sorry if I didn't. Miss Jones, are you here?
She is not on the call.
Okay, well, we're gonna spin the wheel again. Capri, it was on you before we started spinning. Get out of the chat. No, ma'am. Can we get the wheel back one more time? There we go. Keisha Simmons, come on down. Keisha Simmons, are you here? It does not appear that Keisha Simmons is here. She's been removed and we're gonna try it again. Oh, wow, Mommy! That's my Mommy! No, she's here. Ma, come off of mute, say something.
Well, I don't know where I'm at.
There you go.
Well, thank you all.
Oh, you're gonna have to come back to Atlanta so you can go to the 10 spot. I'm gonna book you a flight, Ma. I'm gonna book you a flight. You coming? We go.
Okay, birthday, August 31st.
Okay.
Thanks, baby.
Thank you for being here, Ma.
You're welcome. Wonderful job.
My birthday is August 31st also.
Yay!
Hey, who's Capri?
No, Ma,
Anita.
go back on mute. Okay, go back on mute.
Anita,
Okay,
the one who
I'm
just
out.
won
I'm
over
out.
your mom.
Well, we're looking forward to having you at the 10 spot.
I look forward to being there.
Can't hear you, Mokita.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Elizabeth Soaring. Okay, we're going back to the wheel. Angie Jefferson. Angie Jefferson. Okay, we're going back to the wheel. Erica Whalen. Wow, where are the people? Okay, we're gonna keep going. Karen Klein. All right. Now, I've never been anywhere where you can't give something away. Mrs. Pinkston. Okay. Marsha Harris. Oh, we're gonna keep spinning.
Marsha
I'm
Harris
here.
is on
Oh,
the
yay, Marsha, where are you?
I'm here.
Thank God for you, Marsha. Thank God for you for more than one reason. Because we have got to move on. But let's see what Marsha won. Miss Cynthia, don't laugh at me.
Marsha, I apologize. I dropped the picture, but you won a gift certificate to the wellness spot, Marsha. Oh,
Yay.
thank you. Yay.
Thank you for being here, Marsha. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We're looking for you, Marsha.
I'm coming.
Okay, we are going to move on to Dr. RJ. Give it to me, Dr. RJ. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I need to do better.
Sorry, I was trying to come off of mute. Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be here. Whenever there is a conversation about self-care, I'm like, sign me up. What can I say? Because, you know, as Black women, women of color, self-care should always be #1 on our list. And I love that we had a variety of ways to take care of ourselves on this Pink Table Talk, because true wellness, authentic wellness comes through mind, body, and spirit. And when I'm working with clients or patients, I'll say, look, I got you on the mind part, but the body part and the spirit part, you got to do that somewhere else. And so I love when we have a variety and a well-rounded way of talking about this. So I've been talking about self-care for well over a decade. And what I found is that Black women, we are likely to always have ourselves at the very bottom of the to-do list, the bottom of the priority list. Even if we're on the list, we may not even make our own list. And I know this for sure. This isn't anything I've heard. This is what I know. And I can imagine that on this call, people may be saying, oh, am I even on my own to-do list? And the thing about not being on your own to-do list is that it comes with real consequences, right? And so yes, self-care is taking care of our mind, body, and spirit, but if we're not taking care of ourselves, it comes along with health issues, like significant health issues, relationship issues, interpersonal issues, resentment. I mean, there are some long-term consequences of not taking care of yourself. So I'm going to start with the pop quiz, because that's just what I like to do. I'm going to ask everybody to just kind of put a number in the chat. So it's going to be either number 1, 2, or 3. So this is the question. What is the primary cause of depression and anxiety? Either 1, thoughts, 2, feelings, or 3, behavior. And I'll repeat that. What do you think the primary cause is of depression and anxiety? 1, your thoughts, 2, your feelings, or 3, your behaviors? All right. And so Mokita, let me know what's rolling in.
Absolutely.
What are folks
I see
saying?
a lot of 1s, Dr. RJ. I see a couple 3s and I see a few 2s, but the majority are 1s.
Okay, all right. And so I'm going to pause because I saw Audra changing her answer.
Yes.
I'm waiting on Audra.
To all of the above, she did.
So yes, somebody said, can I get that shirt? Absolutely, you can get this shirt at askdrrj.com. And there's also, they're in lots of colors, not just pink and green. It's one of my favorite shirts to wear because it's like in your face. Self-care, take care of yourself. It's a reminder. So absolutely. So the answer, let's get there, drum roll.
The answer is number one. I love that all the ones are coming in. I see you guys are doing like some real work and paying attention to what happens. So number one is the answer, your thoughts. The main cause of depression and anxiety, or primary cause of depression and anxiety, are your thoughts. It all starts with your thoughts. Now, of course, this is an oversimplified way of talking about it. There are other things that can be going on, but if we're talking about us, women, depression and anxiety in the mild to moderate type, it all starts with the thought. So we have to be so careful to take care of our thoughts. Often I'll ask people, what are you thinking, right? And they'll say, well, I don't know. I can tell you what I was feeling. But it's important to figure out what you're thinking, because what you think impacts what you feel. What you feel impacts what you do. What you do creates patterns, and patterns creates your lifestyle. And so it all starts with a thought. If that one thought is something like, I'm not good enough, right? Or something like, no matter how hard I try, this won't work. Or something like, I always do things for other people and nobody ever thinks about me. Those types of thoughts then shape everything else that will happen around us. And something I've noticed over the past few years is that there's a population of people who have been ignored. Black women executives, physicians, leadership, people who own their own businesses. We have been ignored because on the outside, right, we look good, right? We have the house or the kids, the car, the husband, the dream job, the degrees, and we're in all these amazing organizations. And we're not on our own to-do lists, right? We're anxious, we're sad, we get home and we take off the lip gloss and it's just like, now what? And the reason I feel, in my opinion, the reason that this particular group of women that we have been ignored is because we don't ask for help, right? And there's some sort of shame around using each other for help, or there's some sort of shame around needing help or needing somebody. And we have to get rid of that narrative. That narrative is killing us, literally killing us, right? And if there's nothing else that you remember today, I'm going to say set some boundaries, use your power of saying no, and know that you're worth more than just being a workhorse for other people.
Oh, that's good,
Right.
Dr. RJ.
You want me to say it again?
Yes, please.
You're worth more than just being a workhorse for other people, right? And so the thing about self-care is it's not selfish, because if we show up for ourselves, then when we give ourselves to other people, they're getting all of us, they're getting the best of us. So our friends, our families, our employees or whoever, they're not getting just the little bits and pieces of us, they're getting the best of us. And that's what we want to offer. So when you need to go and get your massage or your facial or whatever, remember that you are putting yourself first. And then they're getting the best of you and they're not going to get this sort of resentful side of you. And I'll actually, let me pause for questions before I go into the next thing. Any questions, comments?
I don't see any questions in the chat right now, but I have a question.
Okay,
What
I got an
makes
answer.
us, please, yes. What makes us put ourselves so far down the list? Is it we want everybody to like us? We want to save people? Like, what is it? What makes us do that?
So part of it, I think everything, this is my personal opinion, goes back to sort of how Black people arrived here. And it goes back to the history of oppression. And it goes back to our culture, our history. And we were shaped to put ourselves last. We were shaped to take care of everybody else and we didn't matter. We were shaped to have the scraps of everything. And then that went on from generation to generation to generation to generation. which is why we have to be super important. It's super important for us to change the narrative for future generations.
Yeah.
So taking care of yourself is not just about you. It's about teaching our daughters and nieces and cousins and everybody else that the bottom of the barrel is not where we belong. Right? It's not where we belong. And so I do think that this sort of pleasing thing is learned behavior. If we think about our parents and grandparents and great grandparents, we saw them do it all seemingly. Right? We didn't see the tears. We didn't hear about the loneliness or the emptiness or the isolation. All we saw maybe is the outward health issues or the shortened lifespans or, these very serious things that happen. But in our minds, because we weren't talking about it then, it's like, well, if grandma did everything and I'm not doing the most, then maybe I'm not good enough. I don't know. It gets confusing.
Yeah.
So learned behavior, and then also some of it is likability. Will I still matter if I'm not doing all these things for everybody? And I'm going to say, yes, you still matter.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I do see a question in the chat. Autumn Lewis says, so once we identify the need for self-care, where do we start?
Hey, Autumn Lewis, that's a great question. Well, of course, I'm a huge proponent of therapy and also coaching. And so, again, what I noticed in my practice is that executive women, doctors, pharmacists, whoever, dentists were being ignored. And I think making it a priority to get some sort of coaching or training to get you on the fast track to a lifestyle of self-care, because it's not an easy thing to just do. And we're talking about cognitions, we're talking about neural pathways that have been there forever. And so to shape our brain and to reset our brain, it requires work. And it requires consistency and intentionality. So I'll just say this, if you are interested in coaching and that sort of thing, just drop your email in the chat and somebody from the committee will pick it up, and I'll shoot you out a video case study or something that can be helpful for you, 3 steps, and then kind of going from there. But again, we go to school, we get good grades, we go to college and we get all these accolades and awards. And so our identity ends up being about things and other people and not about ourselves. And so then it's like, well, if I'm not doing all of this, what does that mean? So step 1, get you a therapist or a coach, and a massage and a facial. Go to sleep, drink some water, go to sleep. Yes, go to sleep.
Autumn, go to sleep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out in front of everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm sorry. There is another question in the chat. Janine Epps Randall, and I hope I pronounced your first name correctly. She says, I struggle with being a perfectionist, type A, and I'm very hard on myself. Any suggestions to change my mindset to a more positive mentality?
Yes, just say no. Janine Epps Randall. I wonder if Janine is a Virgo, because Virgos do the most. I just want to say that since we're are you a Virgo, Janine? Janine, put it in the chat. Are you a Virgo?
Yes, I'm a Virgo.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yes.
Virgo's in the house.
Yes.
Y'all do the most.
I do the most. I know.
The most.
In the house, yes.
Because something feels good about accomplishing tasks. However, what happens is, and not just Virgos, but all of us type A, perfection. Well, I'm not type A, I used to be, and I'm reformed, but the type A perfectionist, it's hard to see that fine line between doing something you really enjoy to the other side of resentment, right? Like, why am I the only one who's doing all of this? Why am I the only one who cares? Why am I the only one? And then it can turn into loneliness, because it feels like nobody else understands you or nobody anticipates your needs. And the way to combat that is to just say no. You can always change your no to a yes later if you feel like it. but just say no. It's not necessary to be all things to all people all the time. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it makes you sad or angry or both. So saying no, that's just a simple thing. It's okay to say no. It's powerful to say no. There's so many ways to say no. I do it all the time. I'm fine. I do it all the time, and I set boundaries, and I feel good about setting boundaries because that means when I do something, it's because I really wanted to do it. And I'm happy to be doing it. And I'm not like, oh, why am I doing this? Or, oh, I don't want to be here. Or, oh, I'm exhausted. Or, oh, I'm tired. I'm enthusiastic about doing things because I've set boundaries and said no to other things. So you'll show up better. You'll show up more kind. You'll show up more efficient and more effective. So for the type A's, saying no and setting boundaries will actually help you be even more efficient and effective because that's what y'all love. Who else?
I have another question, but before I give you that question, I'm going to ask the winners to send their phone numbers through the chat. If you know how to find Rosalind Coar, C-O-A-R, first name is R-O-S-L-Y-N, you can send your number to her. If you can't find it and you don't know how to do it, just put your phone number in the chat and we'll decipher who gets what and we'll get them out to you. The next question is from Laverne Crowder. How can we encourage our Black brothers and sisters to talk to someone when historically we don't do therapy sessions?
That's a great question, Laverne. I think by leading by example, right? The easiest way to get somebody to do something is to say, I did it. I did it and it was fine. Or I did it and these were the setbacks. Maybe you can try it this way. But leading by example is the best way to get our fellow brothers and sisters to talk to somebody. And, you know, talking to friends, I mean, I'm just not a fan of people doing that because it's like, what happens is, okay, I'll say this quickly, but I always get into this spiel of the difference between therapy. A really, really good therapist will make you feel like you're just having a conversation with a friend. But it's so much more than that, y'all. Like, we're like doing all of these background things. We're looking at your body language and we're looking at patterns and we're thinking about your family history and your goals. And, you know, it's an objective way. We're thinking about, oh, well, this cognition links to this feeling links to this behavior. We're doing all of these things in the midst of us talking to you, relating to you in a way that makes it feel like a conversation with a friend. So when you leave, you feel lighter. We're helping you put those puzzle pieces together. But it is not just talking to a friend. Your friends cannot like give you therapy and they shouldn't have that burden. So I'm saying all that to say, see a therapist for yourself or a life coach or, you know, something of the sort, and tell everybody about it. Lead by example.
Okay, I have another question, but I also have a comment. Keisha Carson said, therapy saved me from myself. I support it as part of self-care.
Thank you, Keisha. Absolutely. And I encourage you to like scream it out loud, let people know, because you never know who's listening. You never know who has been sent in your pathway for you to impact them. It could be someone who's a stranger. So again, leading by example, telling your story, and making sure that people know that it really is okay to not be okay.
So I have two questions. One is from Tammy Barbariti. Can you generally address stress management / self-care?
Yes. So in general, I guess the question is just talk about stress management and self-care just overall. I would say the first thing, when you're feeling stress, get out a piece of paper. And I actually did a reel about this the other day on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you're missing out on a whole bunch of good stuff. Ask Dr. RJ.
Okay.
ASKDRRJ. So get out a piece of paper, and you can actually do that now if you're feeling stressed. This is like the easiest way, the number one way to reduce your stress in the moment. On the left side of the paper at the top, just write can control, C-A-N, can control. Draw a line down the middle. On the right side of the paper, can't control. So can control, can't control, you have your line down the middle. Everything that's directly in your control, you put on that can control side. Things that are not directly, and I mean directly, not things that you can influence, but things that are not directly in your control, put them on the right side. So you have your can control and your can't control. Everything on that right side, on that can't control, just kind of put it over here. You can't do anything about it. Get it out of your mind, put it somewhere else. Focus on the can control side and make an action plan based on the things that you specifically can control. If there's nothing on that side of the paper, tell yourself, I just can't really worry about that, because worrying isn't going to help. We know that. It just makes you sick and it makes you fat, by the way. Worrying and stress builds up cortisol in your body, and that creates all this belly fat. And then if you're not sleeping, it really wreaks havoc. So this side of the paper is going to be super important. Your can control, focus on what you can control. That's a good way for stress management. Another thing for stress management and self-care in general or overall is to say no and to keep it there. Set firm boundaries, right? Firm boundaries, and realize that even if you are brilliant and smart as all of you are, just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should. It doesn't. I mean, leave something for somebody else to do.
That's a good one.
Right.
Two more questions here. I see. Well, let me just say this, Dr. RJ. You said worry makes you fat. Is that what has been going on over here? Is that, I mean, you could have texted me that, Dr. RJ, and I can see 15 pounds gone between now and Christmas. You know
That's what I'm saying. That's
All
what I'm saying.
right.
If you sleep, then that helps that blood sugar from just dumping in your brain, like releasing in your body in the middle of the night around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. When you're up and you should be sleeping, your body's like, why are we up? Well, maybe we need some energy. So let me dump this glucose in your body. And that's not really what you need at 2 or 3 in the morning. You need to be resting, recharging, restoring. And then of course the cortisol, the stress hormone causes belly fat. There's a direct link to that.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. So, and when we're worried and when we're stressed, we tend to seek comfort in other things. And a lot of times those things either cost a whole lot of money. It's like retail therapy, or they have a whole lot of carbs. That's just how it is. And I bet most people on the call can relate.
Yeah, sounds like we are in a session, just you and I right now. Okay,
there,
let me move on to the next question. Angela Howard says, I am particular in my search for a minority therapist, specifically an African-American female. Is that a stretch?
No. Well, let me just say, what city are you in? Can you type it real quick?
I believe Angela is here in Atlanta. Yes, I'm looking at her. Yes, Angela is my little sister. She is here in Atlanta.
Atlanta has, if you're in Atlanta, you are like blessed with Black professionals, like any field you can think of. When I talk to my friends who are in other cities and states, they may struggle a little bit more, but Atlanta, there's probably 22 on this call right here. And so as a matter of fact, if you are a therapist, drop your info in the chat, just drop it on in there if you're a therapist. But therapyforblackgirls.com is a place that I usually send people, therapyforblackgirls.com and psychologytoday.com. And it's fine to interview your therapist, make sure it's a good fit. This is, again, me. I always tell people, if your therapist has never been in therapy, keep it moving. I think all therapists should have been in therapy at some point or should be in therapy, and not just peer supervision group. Not what I'm talking about. I mean, like for real therapy, because you want someone who is sound and someone who's not thinking about their own issues when they're talking to you. Right. And so again, that's something important to look for.
So
All
not
right.
only are you a therapist, but you're a mind reader, because that was the next question. Do you think therapists should have therapists for themselves? You have already answered
Absolutely.
that. So we
Yes.
will move on. We have dropped the websites to the places that Dr. RJ suggested, therapyforblackgirls.com and psychologytoday.com in the chat. And there are some therapists that are putting their information in the chat as well. So please take a look at the chat if you have any questions about that information.
Yeah, there are tons of great therapists, and I just want to say really quickly this: when I'm working with Black women executives, sometimes they don't have the time necessarily to be in therapy at that moment, which is why I started coaching in addition to starting a coaching program in addition to therapy, because again, it's an 8-week thing. You're in, you're out. And then of course the maintenance can be therapy, but the way that those schedules work, you want something that you can have almost like a quick start to getting on the way. You know, once you start something and you get in a good habit of it, it's easier to maintain. So I did want to mention that you can also do executive coaching or therapy or both. I definitely recommend both at some point.
So we are getting close to the end of our session with Dr. RJ. I do have one last question, but I want to give you the opportunity to say anything that you want to say, Dr. RJ, in closing.
Yeah, again, anytime there is a conversation on self-care, I'm like super happy to be there, because as Black women, we're not always okay. And it feels like it's almost like taboo to say that, or it makes us weak or incompetent or incapable, or it takes away our superpowers. Listen, no one can take away our superpowers, right? Unless we're doing that to ourselves. And we do that to ourselves by overextending, not setting boundaries, thinking that we have these superhuman powers, and we don't. I mean, we're good enough as we are. So I just want to encourage everyone who's listening in and who may see this even later, ask for some help. You know, it's okay to say, I am struggling. It doesn't make you less capable. It makes you super smart to know exactly where you can tweak some things. And that's pretty much it. And again, you all can find me at Ask Dr. RJ on Facebook, Instagram. If you are interested in like the 3 steps that I talked about earlier that I would share, just drop your email in a chat. Somebody will capture it and I'll send it to you offline. And oh, shirts. The shirts are at AskDrRJ.com. They come in all colors. Of course, this is my favorite color. Doesn't it look good?
Yeah.
Because it is definitely a reminder every day that it starts with self-care and it never stops.
Dr. RJ, are you on Clubhouse?
I'm on Clubhouse. If y'all come listen, I'll go back. I'm there, but yes, I can do a little something on Clubhouse.
Okay, well, that is great. The last question that I have for you is with regard to cost. People think that therapy is very expensive. Some people's medical benefits don't pay for it. Some people don't have medical benefits. Any information you can give us around that?
When we're talking about cost, healthcare in general is just, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I think prioritizing, being intentional, we have to make our mental health a priority. And by any means necessary, just get it done. And I know that may sound insensitive, but that's all I got. By any means necessary, get it done. It's the same as if there might be a physical health issue and there's been a diagnosis. By any means necessary, you got to get that thing fixed or together or sorted out. Also, though, keep in mind that if with the Affordable Care Act, it does extend to behavioral health treatment as well.
Okay.
And don't forget about your churches, your places of faith, your EAP programs. Those sorts of things may offer low cost therapy. But again, we have to invest in ourselves. I think Valerie said that earlier, or someone said that earlier. We have to invest in ourselves. And so making it a priority when you're making that budget, therapy needs to be like right at the top.
I agree. I told you Dr. RJ was the truth. Thank you so much, Dr. RJ, for being here with us. Someone asked what your room on Clubhouse is. So if you want to drop that in the chat, or Dr. RJ, you don't look like you want to do Clubhouse.
I'm coming back just for whoever asked. I'll drop it in the chat.
It was Anjanette Fountain.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yes.
Yep, I'll drop it for you.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to move on to Miss Katrina Lawson, and we're going to do a guided meditation.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you, Makita?
I am great. Thank you for asking.
Fabulous.
Oh,
You look
thank
great.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm not a soror, but I wanted to kind of, respect the space. I've got on pink and I found some pearls. So.
Well, we appreciate that. Pink and pearls are the best. Thank you.
I feel like I fit in, so thank you very much. Like Makita said, my name is Katrina Lawson, and I'm the owner of Kinetic Abundance Yoga, and I reside in Douglasville, Georgia. But if someone is out of state and if they're interested, I do private sessions on online, so that's something that we could look at. So I want to talk to you all a little bit about meditation. There's a lot of people who feel like meditation is not accessible to them. And I think people think of meditation as, oh, I'm going to just plop down, I'm going to be all zen, and I'm going to just kind of zone out and take care of myself mentally or spiritually. And meditation is just as different for each person as food is, or as a television show is. I have a show, I'm not going to say what it is. I might be a little embarrassed about it, but I have a television show that I'm watching with a friend of mine. And
no, we're being transparent. You got to go ahead and tell us. You started it.
So the show is called Ready to Love. I want to say it's not Ready to Love, it's Ready.
Nephew Tommy on there. You're not the only one that watch it. Go ahead and tell us.
I'm with friends. Thank you very much.
That's right.
So at the beginning of the show, we kind of analyze each person, and we're like, oh, he's trash, or oh, I hope she finds someone, or he seems so sweet, things like that. And the thing is, we're looking at the exact same programming, and we see something differently. We each see something different, and it doesn't mean that either of us are right or wrong. It's just what it is. We all have our own perspectives. We have our experiences that we've brought to the table. And it's the same thing with meditation. I have a student, since we're being transparent, it's Autumn, who can't stay still ever. And even when we go into Shavasana, she talks through the whole class. It's okay. It's okay. It's her perspective. It's the way she has to do her yoga, because she's coming to yoga. It's kind of, new for her. So I don't want people to feel like they have to be restricted. But the point of meditation is to become present with yourself. So for Kinetic Abundance Yoga, my motto is stillness moves. And a lot of times we're like, oh, I got to go do this. I got to take care of this. I got to. But if you don't stay still for just a moment and then move, you're going to make the wrong move somewhere. And so a lot of times meditation can be beneficial for people. So for someone like Autumn, who can't stay still, or doesn't feel like, just sitting in cross-legged, pose, eyes closed, fingers in a mantra is going to work for them, you can do something like a walking meditation, or, a lot of people take time to take just a moment to pray over their food, to say grace, or to just pray, period. That is asking for something. And meditation is asking for the answer, waiting for that response to come back. So it's just taking a moment to breathe and being aware of yourself and allowing yourself to receive information back. A lot of times everything comes back to you anyway. You know all the answers. God is within you. You are God. And so as you ask for these things in prayer, or sometimes just in shouting in traffic, you know, sometimes you can take a moment, maybe before you come out of your car in the parking lot, or before you get out of your car in the driveway or the garage, maybe sit there just a moment and give yourself space to breathe. And what we're going to do today is going to be a guided meditation where I'm going to just get everyone to get into a comfortable place, and I'm going to guide everyone into a space. So if you have a moment, if you have a pen and paper, or you have, even if you have a phone or iPad, I just want you to have it there after. So when the meditation is done, if something comes to you, then you can go ahead and write it down afterward. Before I start though, I did see some questions in the chat, so I didn't know if you wanted me to respond to those or.
It's totally up to you. Would you like to do it now or after?
We can do some now and then
Okay.
some after.
So I have one question from Joe Fuller that says, my mind wanders all the time. How do I control that?
So the first thing is it's your ego that thinks it needs to control things.
Oh, wow.
And so for me, I'm going to tell you, I used to be a super, super hyper person. And Dr. RJ, I am a Virgo. And I know my friends were probably shouting when you said that, because several of them were on this call. And I mean, one of the stories I was going to tell you all about today was, but since we're being totally transparent, my father was in a really bad car accident a couple of weeks ago, and now he's been moved to rehab, so he's doing well. Everything's great, but the story is about me. So anyway,
Put you first. That's right. Go ahead.
So I've done all these things, running around, getting him snacks and making sure he had stuff in rehab, clothing, robe, whatever, all these things. And because I'm a Virgo, I gotta get the things done. Everybody's got to have everything right. And he didn't say thank you. And it bothered me for an hour. And I was like, wait a minute. Why did you do that? Did you do that so he said thank you? Was that just going to make everything good? So I know it's something deeper there. So within me meditating, I took that to my meditation, and it took like 2 days for it to come back, for me to understand that, you know, I just have this thing with people saying thank you. It doesn't really have to mean anything, but it's my ego. Like, I want credit. Doing this thing, you know, I want to be acknowledged, but it doesn't mean that he's not thankful or grateful. It just, for me, I realized that was something I had to deal with within myself. It's not that I have to tell him what that thing is. And being in meditation daily helps me to process those things, because some things are bigger and they may take longer, but that could be something, if someone has a traumatic relationship with someone and that kind of little thing happens, meditation can be something that helps you to calm yourself. Your mind wanders because you have so many things going on, and once you stay still, your mind is like, oh, okay, remember this? Did you turn off the iron? Is the oven on? Did you pay this bill? Did you say this to this person? You have all these things, but you're always so busy that once you stay still, your mind's like, oh, we got to get her. We got to let her. Did she do this? Did she do that? And so that's what happens, and why you have so many thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to learn how, as you practice, to deal with that. Some people say push the thoughts away. Some people say, you know, try to process some of those thoughts. But I think if you find something to focus on, so a lot of times when I start yoga or meditation, I give everyone an intention. So I may say, if something's happening in the world at the time, like the things that were going on in India with COVID. And so I may say, you know, let's send peace and blessings to those people in India. Or I may say, I want you to think about how grateful we should be for this beautiful nature, because I do yoga outside. So be grateful for nature. And so if you have that type of intention, then it's best to try to focus on something, and you find whatever that is to focus on, and that kind of can help you. It doesn't mean it can be a year. It took me a couple of years to really get really good with meditation. And if I skip too many days, it's almost like I'm starting over again, because my mind my ego wants to, come in there and tell me what to do. So I hope I answered your question.
Okay, that is the only question that I see in the chat at this time. If I find anything else, I will let you know.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blank out my screen because I don't want everyone to worry about all this beauty here and having to, I want you to be able to focus. I want you to
love
be able
it.
to focus
I love it.
on the meditation. So I
love
want you to listen to my voice. And what I would like for you to do also is, like I said, if you have something to write with, have that near you. And something that you can, and so if you want to have an intention at the beginning here, what I'm thinking about is this whole self-care, all these things that we have talked about. You're heard about taking care of your body, taking care of yourself mentally, and even spiritually is important. So I want you to just think about not how you're going to do it, why you're going to do it, but just, I am enough. I'm going to do it. And then I want you to just focus on your breathing. If that gets to be too much to focus on that, and you're like, oh, what is this? And $50, oh, $35. Don't think about any of that then. Just focus on inhaling and exhaling. All right, with that, I'm going to blank out my screen and then we will get started. So I want you to get yourself into a comfortable space, whether that is in your chair or you're on a sofa, or if you're laying in the bed, it's not my business. You make yourself comfortable. Place yourself in a way that you won't do too much fidgeting and you're able to allow your legs to be comfortable, your arms to be comfortable. And I'm going to play a little bit of music here. As you're seated, imagine yourself going on a trust walk to freedom, self-care, and self-love. Take a deep inhale, pause, and then exhale. Let's take another inhale and then exhale. We're going to do one more inhale and exhale, and return to your normal pattern of breathing. In this walk, it's a walk of getting to know yourself, loving yourself, and getting to know who you truly are, your authentic self. Know that you have all of the answers within you. Now, I want you to imagine on this trust walk, what does your walk look like? Are you on a path by a gentle stream in the mountains? Or are you on a beautiful sandy path by the beach along the seashore? Wherever you are, you were meant to be there. This is your path, your trust walk path, walking towards your true authentic self, your true, pure, unconditional love self. Look around you. What are you seeing? What are you smelling? How do you feel? Be sure you're breathing as you're in this trust walk. Know that within you is the real you, waiting for you to fully merge with the real, authentic you, your higher self. Know that as you progress along this path, you are safe and you are being guided by many angels towards something beautiful. As you progress along this path, your trust walk, you will notice along the side of this path There's a small table with a chair. Walk towards that chair. It's meant for you. You sit down and notice there are a set of blank note cards on the table and a black pen. This is your very special set of note cards, meant for you. To write down anything that you would like to release that is holding you back from loving the true you, from becoming your authentic self. You pick up the pen and decide to write that which you wish to release on these note cards. Your fears and any insecurities. As you write these fears, you will notice that the fears are going away, that your breathing is easier, that you are more relaxed. Inhale and exhale. You are more focused and you feel hopeful. Inhale and exhale. Keep writing. You're doing so well. When you are ready and finished, nod your head. Give yourself some gratitude. After you've written everything down, know you have now released these fears and insecurities onto the paper. Now that you are done writing these down, you notice there is a small fire burning gently in a beautiful fire pit. This fire was made just for you. This is your fire of releasing. Inhale and exhale. You gently get up with your note cards in your hand and walk over to the fire. One by one, releasing those fears into the fire. Inhale and exhale. When the cards reach the fire, your fears and insecurities are no longer. You are free as you release the last one into the fire. Inhale and exhale. You will notice that you no longer have those fears. They are completely released now. You realize that you have let go and you feel a sense of pure wholeness, for you now know that you have transformed. You turn around and look behind you and you see your path. You start to trust walk again towards your path. You start moving forward and you feel a sense of pure joy in your heart, pure freedom, and know that now you have released. Inhale and exhale. You know that just around the corner or over the hill is your newfound freedom, and you wonder, what does this look like? You also know that just over the hill is you, ready to merge with you. You are really excited as you notice you are now trusting yourself, loving yourself fully, and standing taller. Inhale and exhale. Loving yourself fully and standing taller, while you can breathe fully and you are grounded and joyfully happy. As you move up the hill and gently, ever so gently, you look down the hill. Why, there you are. Wow. Shining your light, looking up at yourself, you run down and merge with you. You are now your authentic you, fully merged, trusting yourself, shining your light, loving you. You feel purity within you, pure, unconditional love. Inhale and then exhale. You feel a sense of peace that you have never experienced before. You feel a sense of gratefulness. You also have your new set of golden cards, your new positive cards with wording such as, I now fully love and accept myself. I am the light that I have been looking for. I love myself. I trust myself. Inhale and then exhale. You also hear much clapping around you. It's your angels. You look around you and you can now see them. There are so many. They have been with you all along and you realize you feel a deep sense of love, knowing that they've always been with you and they will always be with you. Inhale and then exhale. Always know you can come back to this special place feeling pure love. Take a deep inhale and then exhale and allow yourself to come back to this present space. Wiggle your fingers and slowly blink your eyes. Become aware of your body and your surroundings. And when you're ready, you can tenderly, fully open your eyes. If you have something on which to write, take about 30 seconds or so and write down something you saw or something you may have felt. You can even write down, this isn't for me. Or you can just write down, I love me. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. And so with that, that's your 30 seconds. But if you want, take as long as you need and write as much as you need. But sometimes it's refreshing to write right away anything that may have come to you. It could be colors or it could be something you needed to remember from Friday at work. It could be anything. Thank you all so much for allowing me to guide your meditation practice this evening. I hope it was beneficial for you. It was great for me. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Namaste. It was absolutely wonderful. Very calming, very soothing. I'm looking in the chat and I see that was wonderful. I see namaste. I see so free love to disconnect. I see you tomorrow. I see. Thank you so much for that meditation. I feel so relaxing. Thank you, so calming, peaceful. So all in all, it seems to have been a wonderfully calming and peaceful exercise. Can you tell everyone, I mean, I'm not trying to have anybody do any type of soliciting, but can you tell everyone what type of classes you have and when they're available?
So what I do now is mostly private sessions. So I'll put my website into the chat. And so people can go on and they can send me an email and schedule, or they can book most of the time I talk to you because if I do a private session and I'm coming to you, we kind of look at how far away you are. And but I'll put that in the chat. And also I did, oh, well, Autumn has done it for me.
Yes,
So
she has.
it's there now. Thank you so much. So you can always go there and reach out to me and schedule a private session. So.
Okay, I do see someone who says that was something new, but she enjoyed it. So that's great.
Oh, great. That's awesome. It's always great to try something new. I'm glad you liked it.
Yes. So we have time for questions. If anybody has any questions for anyone that was on our panel, now's the time to either raise your hand or drop them in the chat. Excuse me. I also want to remind you all that we have a survey. If someone could tell me, are we going to do the survey before we get off?
I'm going to drop it in the chat, but we will also send the survey out later on if you don't have a chance to grab the survey. Right.
Okay, perfect. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Miss Suzette Lassane.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Give me 1 second here. Wonderful. Sorry about that. I just wanted to thank everyone for showing up. And I hope you feel like you just came through a very peaceful, relaxing moment. You know, when we started this journey around Pink Table Talk, and I actually have to give credit to Dr. RJ Verwain, who was the chairman of Women's Health and Wellness last year. And she said, I want to do this series about being real and just having honest conversations. And we don't know where the topic's going to take us. And then we had a big thing planned. And then this little thing called COVID interrupted that in-person event. And so we started brainstorming and we had a discussion about doing something virtual, finding a different outlet for us, especially as Black women or women of color. And this one has come full circle because we spent a lot of time talking about, if you've been with us through these installments, we talked about COVID, we talked about the impact that it's had, we talked about depression because so many of us were going through that state of depression in the middle of COVID. And then we came back and talked about the impact that COVID had and loss and what we felt. But for me, this one has been simply incredible because as women of color, we take on a lot. We take on a lot because we feel like we have to. Because let's just be real. And thank you, Mokita, for starting us off on the real track. We were born that way. We were told from birth that this was the path that we were supposed to walk in. And we were supposed to walk, we were supposed to take on this burden and we were supposed to carry it. And so now, to Dr. RJ's point, let's untrain that. Let's stop. In the first Pink Table Talk, if you were with us last year, I told you, let's take the cape off. Let's not be superheroes, right? We are reaffirming to you that it's okay to take it off and find these moments. So if today was the first time that you found a moment, I hope you tasted something that you cannot survive without. This moment of peace, this moment of gratitude, this moment of putting you on your own to-do list, that will stick with me forever. So let me thank this amazing, amazing group of women, our panelists. Thank you so much, Valerie Lee. Thank you so much to LaDonna Suggs. Thank you so much, Dr. RJ Verwain. Thank you so much, Katrina Lawson. This is a gift. What you do is a gift. We celebrate a lot of things in the community, but what you do is a gift. It's a blessing. It's therapy on so many levels because so many of us are hampered by work and stress and all the obligations we have. But we are saying it is okay to take the cape off. It is okay to care for yourself. Put the mask on first so you can care for others. And it is not how we were born. It is not how we were reared. It is not how society continues to reinforce because society allows us to pile it on and we continue to take it on. But we are giving you permission to push against that. And let me thank you so much to our panelists that gave us permission tonight. Let me thank our chairman, to Ms. Joanna Fuller Crawford as the chairman for Women's Healthcare and Wellness. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for being bold, and thank you for being creative. Thank you so much to Ms. Rosalind Kaur for being right there with her on this journey. Thank you so much to Ms. Autumn Lewis. Autumn is doing a lot. She's a chairman for another platform, but this was one she wanted to take on. Thank you so much. To my beautiful members of Tau Epsilon Omega who continue to support us no matter what we do. Thank you. And that is a loaded thank you. You do so much, you work so hard. It is my hope that from this session that you have learned something to practice so that in the midst of the work that we do in East Point College Park and beyond, according to this call, that you take some nuggets from this and care for yourself in the midst of the work that you're doing to care for the community. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you will continue to follow us and join us. There will be more Pink Table Talk series. There will be more financial workshops. Follow us on our social media pages and you will be current. Thank you so much to my president, Ms. Audra Brown Ward, for all that you do for Tau Epsilon Omega. And thank you for allowing us to be creative and innovative in the work that we do. I am grateful for everyone that joined us tonight, and we hope that you will join us in the future. Thank you. I believe the survey has been dropped in the chat. Is that